I am so lucky that last week I got out with my camera before all of the leaves were gone and I managed to get a great clip. I live about a quarter of a mile. It's just across the street, down a little bit of the mountain is a beautiful river. I managed to get some great scenes, which I'll insert. That's not what we're going to talk about mostly today. Today, we're going to talk about Terracotta Crazy Collection. The Healthy Glow Powder. It is so beautiful. I teased this at the end of my last video. Here we go with the pouch. I'm so excited. Okay, so the compact has a 68 on it. I tried to get some close-ups of it before, but the reflections really kind of hindered that. I'll try and insert some. Hopefully it turned out looking okay, but I just know that so much of the reflection was getting caught in it. Let's go ahead and look at the powder. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. It is vibrant, as you can tell, but I don't think the colors are anything to be scared of because the way that Guerlain does their healthy glow, that's what they call this, yeah, a healthy glow powder, and their bronzing powders in general are not, they're not scary pigmented. I did purchase earlier in the summer one of the Bobbi Brown bronzing powders. Too much. That was way too much. I have never been able to use it. It's just way too pigmented. But these have always been just the perfect amount of powder. And I'm going to show you the other two Guerlain Terracotta powders that I previously owned. And I'll tell you what I think in comparison. Okay, these are the regular Terracotta Four Seasons bronzers. I believe I showed in a video this first one, which was 00 Nude. This is one of the ones that came out earlier this year. It has this beautiful light pink and lighter bronzy. This is the one that previously worked best for me. I now actually prefer the new Crazy Bronzer over this one. However, they are very similar colors when you swirl them all together. Even though the pink in this is lighter, I do think it has about the same tone, and I'll explain why I actually like the 68 bronzer. What am I calling this? How should I refer to this? I have to decide how I'm going to refer to this. Crazy. I'm going to call it Crazy Terracotta. That's how I'm going to refer to this one. I actually prefer the Crazy Terracotta over this one, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Okay, this is the other Guerlain Four Seasons bronzer that I have, and this is in the new numbering system, number 4. This was one of the ones that they had out before they came out with the whole new coloring system, but it was renamed number 4, which I believe was medium blondes. Okay, this one has been overall the biggest accident for me. And I think you probably can see a little bit. This is pretty dark. However, like I stated before, they are fairly subtle when you try to apply them. The problem that I have with this is, even in the summer, this looks too orange on me. And I think you can tell I'm fairly pale. Usually in the summers, I do get a lot darker. However, this summer, for whatever reason, maybe I was just watching myself more carefully when I went out in the sun, I didn't get very tan. This, ooh, not a good look on me. It just ends up looking orange. Not their fault, my fault for having purchased one that was completely the wrong hues for me. It looked like it would be perfect. It's just not perfect for me. I'm sure it works great for some people. Me, not so much. Now these bronzers Same packaging, except for obviously this one has a 68 that reflects in it, and this one has the Guerlain swirly G symbol. But other than that, the packaging is the same. Another big difference, well, not big difference, it's a kind of a little difference, I guess, is the prices. For the Terracotta Four Seasons, they are $75. The Crazy Paris Terracotta was $69, and I believe limited edition. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I actually prefer this. And I'm gonna hold it up next to the nude color that I have, because these are the two that are slightly similar. On your face, probably gonna look pretty close. This one, you can probably see, has more vibrant of a pink color. However, it doesn't come off looking crazy pink. It doesn't show up on your face as you have to use this as blush. It doesn't come off that way at all. It blends together and looks a lot more subtle. And I'm gonna try to do a little swirl. You're probably not gonna see that. Of course, swatching bronzers is never easy because these things are so subtle that if I swatch it on my hand, you probably won't even be able to tell. However, I will put them on my fingers and do a close-up of the nude and the Crazy Terracotta. This color is the nude, and this color is the Crazy Terracotta. You can see they both have a slight sheen to them. However, the Crazy Terracotta does have a little bit more of a sheen to it. And the colors pretty similar when they're all swirled together. The nude Terracotta is slightly paler of a pink. So hopefully in the close-up you could see the difference. The Crazy bronzer does look a hint more reddish pink, while the nude comes off obviously a little more pale pink tan because of the pale nature of the pink that's in there. I think for a person of my coloring, I think I mentioned it before, I don't like to look orange, I don't like to look yellow. I prefer when things on my face, including bronzers, look a little more pink or a little more red. For me, personally, my coloring, it looks more natural because when I go out into the sun or when I flush in the winter, I get red. That's just how my skin is. So I do look for products that look more pink, more red. It just ends up looking more natural on me, which is exactly why the number 4 bronzer looks too yellow and too fake, and I just cannot use it. The other thing about the Crazy Terracotta is that it does have a sheen to it. Now, the number 4 Terracotta doesn't have any sparkle or sheen in it at all. However, the nude number 00 Terracotta did come with some very subtle sparkles in the pink shade. This Crazy Terracotta also has very subtle, I don't even want to call them sparkles because they're not what I would consider sparkles. It does have a nice sheen to it, but when you put it on the face, you don't look like a glitter ball. You don't look like you're reflecting. It ends up really blending in nicely with the skin and giving it just a glow that you can't really define what it is that makes you look like you're glowing. I don't even want to say glow. It just looks natural. Get into the next point that I want to make and why I actually prefer this one over the Terracotta Four Seasons Nude. And that is that for me, the Terracotta Four Seasons are very hard. And I don't know if these are just my 2 bronzers or if this is just a characteristic of these Four Seasons bronzers, is that it doesn't lift up a lot of product when you swirl a brush over it, when you swatch it, anytime. Mine do not really deposit a lot of color, which I think does help in making them look more subtle. However, oftentimes when I'm swirling it around, I can see in reflection that there are some spots where it looks like there's a hard film over because they are so hard. That is probably exactly why they are so subtle, is that not a whole lot of powder comes off at once. And again, I don't know if that's just mine, and I'm not knocking them in any way. It's just that that's the difference. This one, this Crazy Terracotta, not the same. Beautiful amount comes off. It's just perfect, and I love it. Something else I did want to mention is I don't feel like I have found the best bronzing brush. Like, I don't have one that I'm just in love with and I would totally recommend head over heels. I have used an Hourglass Kabuki. That's pretty much the closest thing that I have to a bronzing brush. And even that is, I mean, you can see how much of my face it takes up. I do like the type of bronzers that you put all over your face, because that is, of course, what bronzer is supposed to be. It is supposed to be warming the face, not contouring. So I think if anyone has a bronzing brush that they love, works great with products, I think I would love to hear your recommendations, because I'm probably in the market for one. I have heard good things about the Marc Jacobs brush. I've heard great things about the Tom Ford brush. That one is, I believe, $110, so I would have to be really swayed by some intense comments of how great that brush is for me to probably purchase it, because $110 for a brush, while I know the investment is really good, I have heard some people say that they do shed, and I've never had a problem with any of my Hourglass brushes shedding. And I just hate picking things off of my face. I did have a blush brush a while ago that every time I used it, it left a black hairs on my face. And it is the most annoying thing in the world to me. And I know you can just take them off and it really doesn't, you know, it's not the end of the world. However, if I'm going to spend a large amount of money on a brush, I don't want to spend 5 minutes picking hair off of my face. That's just how I'm gonna leave it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Anyway, leave me comments if you have a great brush for bronzing that you think I should check out. In conclusion, I do love this. I love it so much. I've used it every day since I've gotten it. I now don't know what I'm gonna do with my other bronzers. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't used this number 4 bronzer. I just haven't, because it's just not, I think you probably can tell too. This is just not, and of course this is my winter skin, so I'm very pale now. But even during the summer, this just doesn't match me. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this one, but in comparison, here are the 3 bronzers all together. And obviously that one really doesn't compare. These two are the only two that really you could compare to each other. And even then, this one is more pale. So I guess that's all I have to say on this. I think it's a great investment. I think it is $6 cheaper. So I think that I wish I hadn't bought the other 2. However, I do know this is limited edition, so hurry out. I also feel like I should address the Google Plus issues, which have been a pain in my behind, just like every other YouTuber and YouTube user and everyone who tries to comment and reply to comments on YouTube. I am so sorry that I have not been able to respond to everyone in my last video. I had to switch to the Google Plus, which means that I could only reply to other Google Plus users. which at the time was only, unfortunately, one person. I tried typing it in, and then I tried doing it to I tried replying with the @ and then the name of some people who hadn't switched over to Google Plus yet. And I don't think it linked to at all, so you probably couldn't even see. I just did it to one to test out to see if it would link in a reply. And I think that means you probably didn't even see my reply. So then I wrote a disclaimer comment saying, I'm so sorry I couldn't reply and everything. So if you had questions, please leave them again under this video. I will be more than happy to respond. I believe now you have to have Google Plus to leave comments, which is very sad. And I still haven't figured it out. I'm still working through it. I don't like the idea of having a Google Plus page, homepage thing that I now have to maintain. And I'm probably gonna ignore that. And I'm not sure if the comments, you can no longer access your comments from YouTube. You'll be notified through your Google Plus page, and I don't know, I still have to figure that out and read some videos that I know some people have made on it. Anyway, I don't want to spend much time harping on this because I know you probably have watched other videos of other much more reputable YouTubers who have already made, you know, their announcements about it. But I just wanted to let you know I have seen your comments. I am so sorry I could not reply. Leave them again. And I promise I will respond. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know about bronzer brushes. Let me know if you've got this crazy Terracotta Healthy Glow powder. Let me know what you think of it. Any other comments, leave them below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.